What if I told you you're not really in love with them? You're in love with your shadow. That ache in your chest when they don't text back, that thrill in your heart when they smile at you, that obsession, that fear, that sudden pull like gravity. You think it's love, but maybe it's something far more unconscious, something far more ancient. Carl Jung believed that love, as we experience it, is rarely about the person in front of us. It's about the hidden parts of ourselves we have forgotten, denied, or buried. The part of you that longs to be powerful, the part that never learned to say no, the part that craves tenderness, but never learned to receive it. Jung said we don't just fall in love, we project love onto people, onto fantasies, onto reflections of the self. And until we make these unconscious patterns conscious, they will keep choosing for us, over and over. If you're someone who senses there's something deeper behind the highs and lows of love, if you're drawn not to surface answers but to soul-level truths, subscribe to Inside Carl Jung. Here we don't just talk psychology, we explore the mystery beneath the mask. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow is one of the most important and most misunderstood ideas in modern psychology. It's not some dark, evil part of you lurking to sabotage your life. No. The shadow is simply everything inside you that you've exiled. It's the parts you were told were too much or not enough. It's the rage you learned to hide, the sensitivity you were mocked for, the creativity you abandoned to fit in, the confidence that once lived in you before shame took over. The shadow isn't just made of negative traits. It's also made of gold, hidden gifts, strengths, and desires you've pushed out of sight. Imagine a child who loved to speak up, to lead, to shine, but was constantly told to be quiet, to shrink, to obey. As an adult, they might become passive, unsure, and drawn to dominant people, never realizing they buried their own leadership. The shadow is built through culture, parenting, trauma, and survival. But once built, it doesn't stay silent. It whispers, it leaks, and in love, it screams. Until you confront it, it will find ways to live, through who you choose, who you chase, and who you cannot let go of. Here's the unsettling truth. We don't always fall in love with people. We fall in love with the qualities they carry. Qualities that represent the parts of ourselves we've lost. This is what Jung called psychological projection. You project onto others the parts of yourself that you are not yet conscious of. And nowhere is this more intense or more misleading than in romantic love. A man who was taught to suppress his emotions might find himself enchanted by a deeply sensitive partner. Not just because she's kind, but because her emotional openness activates something hidden within him. A woman who never felt safe to express her sensuality might feel electric chemistry with a rebellious, free-spirited lover, not because he's the one, but because he embodies the wildness she denied herself. The irony? We believe this connection means they complete us, but in reality, it means we are incomplete. The shadow seeks integration, and it tries to achieve that through relationships. This is why early love can feel overwhelming, magical, addictive. You're not just meeting another person, you're meeting yourself in disguise. But here's the danger. Once the projection fades, once the fantasy collapses, you're left with the real person and the painful question, did I love them or what they represented in me? Carl Jung famously said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This quote isn't just poetic, it's a direct warning to those of us who keep repeating the same painful patterns in love. Why do we keep falling for emotionally unavailable people? Why do we stay in relationships that drain us? Why do we chase love like a drug and crash when it disappears? Because if your shadow is unconscious, it will pull the strings. You'll be magnetically drawn to people who reflect your deepest wounds, not your highest potential. You'll call it passion, but it will be trauma. You'll call it fate, but it will be repetition. The man who felt invisible as a child may fall for partners who never fully choose him. The woman who had to be the caretaker in her family may seek out broken partners to fix, confusing love with obligation. And the pain of these relationships? It's not random. It's a call, a psychological signal to turn inward and see what you've been projecting outward. Jung didn't believe in blaming fate. He believed in radical responsibility. If you don't face your unconscious, you will keep thinking love is hurting you, when in fact it's your shadow crying for your attention. So how do we break the cycle? How do we love without being controlled by projection, fantasy, or unmet childhood needs? Jung's answer was never simple, but it was clear. We must embark on the journey of individuation. That means becoming whole. It means seeing our own shadow and taking back what we've thrown onto others. Start by asking, what do I always look for in love? Power, safety, chaos, attention? Then ask, where am I missing this in myself? You might find that what you crave in another is exactly what your soul is starving for internally. Instead of seeking someone to complete you, seek to become someone who doesn't feel incomplete. That doesn't mean rejecting love. It means loving from a place of wholeness, not from lack. Pay attention to your triggers early in a relationship. Is the attraction healthy curiosity or desperate need? Does your love grow in freedom or does it feed on anxiety? Practice stillness. Sit with your emotions. Journal about your desires without judgment. Work with your dreams. Jung believed our unconscious speaks to us through symbols. And most of all, be gentle. Loving consciously is not about becoming perfect. It's about becoming real, honest, present, awake. When you meet yourself fully, you stop asking someone else to carry the weight of your unlived life. Maybe love isn't just about finding someone who fits. Maybe it's about finding the parts of yourself you've forgotten through the mirror of another. Every relationship carries a message. Some teach us how we want to be loved. Others show us how we've abandoned ourselves. And some, the most painful ones, are here to awaken us. Jung believed that relationships, at their highest, are spiritual paths. They burn away illusion. They humble us. They show us our capacity for destruction and for rebirth. So if you've ever loved deeply and lost, if you've ever confused obsession with intimacy or stayed where you should have walked away, know this, you were not weak, you were unconscious. And now, you're waking up. This is Inside Carl Jung, where we don't just explore psychology, we explore the soul behind it. If this video touched something inside you, leave a comment below. Share your story. Have you ever looked into someone's eyes and realized it was your shadow looking back?